friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade No Hallmark, and today I have a beautiful fall card featuring some really pretty products from the Greetery. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background ready, which is a super simple background. I am using the Leaves and Berries background stamp from Simon Says Stamp and some khaki ink, and I'm going to stamp it onto the backgrounds of some pre-cut Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. They are A2 sized panels. I just trimmed them down probably like 1/4 of an inch on each side. And I'm making 2 cards today. I had the products out and I figured why not make 2 cards. And I really love the way that these turned out. They are super pretty and just in time for fall. Our leaves are finally starting to change and we have some beautiful weather. Nice 60s and 70s, nice cool nights, and it's really becoming my favorite time of year. Once I had those backgrounds all ready to go, I'm going to get into the rest of the stamping. So the stamp set that I am using today comes from the Greetery. It is called Autumn Bliss, and it was the sentiment in this set that really drew me to it. And I love the leaves. I love that they're not like just in one kind of shape. They're all different shapes and they look like they're floating down, and I really wanted to kind of play on that for this card today. So I've got a piece of white cardstock here and I'm taking out some of my Distress Oxide inks in some pretty fall colors. You could use any inks that you have. You could definitely use dye inks. You could use anything, regular Distress inks. But I really wanted to kind of create like multicolored leaves today instead of doing, all solid colors. I really wanted to play around with them and create something really, really fun and unique. So I've got all my colors here. I'll have them listed in the description box below on which colors I did end up using. So I've got the leaves here. There are 6 leaves in the set, and what I'm going to do is I am going to take my ink blending brushes and I'm going to blend on the color to the solid leaves here in different areas, kind of here and there, just to create kind of that multicolored fall leaf look. Again, you could definitely just ink them up, all solid colors. You'd have a really pretty card that way as well. But I really wanted to kind of play around and have some fun with these, and I just love the way that they turned out. It really was what I was wanting to do. And I did go in and I did stamp it all 2 times. So once I had one stamp done, I went back in with those colors in roughly the same places that I had them. If they weren't and they overlapped a little bit, I was totally okay with that. It really added to the multicolor look that I was going for. Again, I just think they turned out so pretty. I was so in love with this and how it turned out. It is just so much fun. So I did do 3 sets of these leaves. I did them in the same process, which each one, now I tried to mix up the arrangement of the colors. So after each time that I did the stamping, I cleaned off my stamps really, really well. And then, excuse me, and then I went in and did some more blending on each of the colors. I did pull in a candied apple. I wanted a little bit more of a brighter red because I have a crackling campfire and aged mahogany for kind of like a deeper brown color, which I was kind of going for. Like my vision behind this was the leaves on the trees right outside my house. I have 2 pretty maple trees that we planted a few years ago, and they're getting like really deep, dark kind of red colors on the tops of them, and that's where I wanted to pull in the aged mahogany, and that's kind of where I got the idea for this card. So again, started out with some ink blending, then I went in and added some more color here and there, and I just had fun with it. There was no right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of go with what you think looks best. And when the colors blend together, it really creates something magical, which I thought was really, really fun. Again, I had a lot of fun doing this. It's a little time consuming die cutting all of these because this set does have a die that will cut out all of the leaves, which I think is fun. You could easily fussy cut them too. They're not difficult shapes if if you had the time to do that. So after I had all of those done, I set them off to the side, and I got out 2 pieces of vellum that I pre-cut to go on the front of my card. And I'm going to heat emboss in gold this greeting. And this greeting is so great. It's from one of my favorite authors. It's Every Leaf Speaks Bliss to Me, Fluttering from the Autumn Tree by Bronte, which I just love. It is just the epitome of fall for me. Again, I fell in love with it. You'll probably see this greeting maybe more than once. It's just so magical. I love it so much. So I am going to stamp it down using some clear embossing ink. I did prep my vellum ahead of time with some anti-static powder, and I'm going to stamp this down. I thought maybe I needed to do it twice, but I didn't. I got a good impression on the first go, and I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Antique Gold Embossing Powder. Now, I probably should have put down some paper because I made a total mess all over everything. I did do 2 of these panels the exact same way after I cleaned my mess up because I kind of made a big old mess. And then I made sure my heat gun was really, really hot. You want to make sure that it's good and hot and it's ready to go so that it melts that embossing powder quickly, because if you don't, it can have a tendency to burn your vellum if it's not ready to go right away. Because if you leave the heat gun on the vellum too long, it will burn your vellum. So make sure your gun is nice and hot so that as soon as it touches that embossing powder, it melts right away, and you don't have to leave it sit too long on that vellum. So you can see here, I've got that piece all ready to go. It is super pretty and shiny, super pretty. So I'm going to do the same thing for my second panel, same process. Nothing changes here, so we can start working on the rest of the card. Once I was happy with those 2 panels, we can start kind of pre-assembling the card. So I wanted to put my greeting onto the side of the card instead of right down the middle. So I had a way to kind of make the leaves cascade down the card and really kind of float around the greeting. That was what I had envisioned in my mind. So I've got that vellum strip, and I am going to fold over the ends across the back, and I'm going to secure it down with some just some washi tape. You could use any kind of tape, just anything to hold it down. You're not going to see this at all on the back. It'll be hidden once we adhere it to the card panel. And what it does is that it creates a little bit of dimension because the vellum kind of floats. It doesn't really adhere down to the panel itself. It, kind of gives it some movement and some interest, which I really like. It's one of my favorite ways to add a greeting to a card that might have an interesting background or some imagery. It really creates a nice subtle way to add that greeting without taking away or being too distracting from the, what else you have going on your card. I have done stuff similar to this using pattern paper, all those sorts of things. So once I have those ready to go, I'm going to add a little bit of twine to the card as well. This isn't actually twine, it's string that I had for some projects that I was doing around my house. And I felt like it worked really well with these cards. Hindsight, if I would have had some jute twine, I would have liked to do that instead. And again, hindsight as well is instead of tying it on the back like I've done here, I would have wrapped it around the other way and tied the bow on the front of the card. I did end up making it work. Again, I'm still a little bit under the weather, so my brain isn't really working as well as I'd like it to be. So I do apologize if I sound a little funny or if I'm a little jittery. I'm still kind of trying to get over this cold that I've got going on. You guys know how it is. Back to school, kids bring germs home and the parents get sick, not the kids. So that's where I'm at right now. But I made it work. It works out in the end. You don't see any of what I've got going on back here. Once I get everything adhered down to the card, everything is still nice and adhered and tight. I'm not having any issues with anything coming apart or anything like that. So it still works out just fine. Once I had that twine on there, I'm going to kind of arrange my leaves how I'd like them. This took me a little bit of time. I didn't want them to be exactly the same, but I wanted them to be kind of sisters, but not twins, if you get my meaning here. So once I was happy with how I had them arranged, I am going to adhere them down using both liquid glue and foam adhesive to give them some dimension. So you can see here I'm happy with my arrangement. They both look very, very pretty. So I'm going to adhere them down, like I mentioned, using some liquid glue and foam adhesive to give some interest and dimension, kind of, get your eye moving around the card. Again, there is no right or wrong way. You do what you feel looks best to you. I go with what I think makes me happy. I don't follow any rules of three or, how your eye should flow, anything like that. If I think it looks good, I'm going to stick with it. So that's kind of the way I think. Again, do it whatever makes your heart happy. That's how I see it in my mind. So again, I'm just going to adhere all of these down using a combination of those adhesive types. You could just adhere it all down nice and flat, make it a nice flat card. It'd be easy to mail. These ones aren't too bulky. They have a little bit of dimension at the end here when I add some foam strips, but you could still mail this in a nice envelope. I don't think you would have any extra postage on this at all. Still think it would mail just fine. Once I am happy with the placement of all of these leaves and I have them all adhered down, I am going to take a little bit more of that twine and I'm going to tie a couple of bows on the front here. They don't have to be perfect. It's a handmade card, guys. Don't overthink it. Just go with it. People enjoy them however they are. I did fiddle with this bow a little bit, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let it go. I adhered one on one card towards the bottom, and I adhered the other one towards the top, just to make them a little bit different from each other. I like the way that they look. Again, jute twine is a little easier to tie than this kind of flimsy stuff that I've got here, but I made it work. I do like the way that it turned out. Again, next time I think I will tie them so that whenever I wrap it around the card, I can tie a bow right away. Either way, I got it to work out. So they're going to be top folding A2 sized card bases. I'm using Simon Says Stamp 110-pound cardstock for my card bases. You could easily create these into side folding cards. I think they would be pretty as well. I just prefer doing portrait style cards. It's just the way that I like to do it, depending on the card that I am creating. Sometimes I will do side folding, or I guess it's a landscape style card. Just depends on what kind of card I'm creating. So these ones just lend themselves due to the style of the greeting. It is longer. It worked better for this card. So I'm taking some foam adhesive and putting it all over the back of my card to add a little bit of dimension. Again, you could easily adhere these down flat, but because I have that twine going around the back side of the card, I felt like adding the foam adhesive would help hide that and help hold it down as well. So again, you could just do a couple layers of cardstock. You could do, I've seen where people use foam on the back of their cards to create dimension. I haven't ventured into that yet. I think that would be an easy way to add dimension, but I'm just going to use this foam tape. So once I get that all adhered to the back of my cards, we can go ahead and get those put onto our card bases, making sure that it's around the right way. Now I did leave the inside of these cards blank. They are very open-ended. They could be for any occasion. You could just send, this could be a happy birthday card. This could be a thinking of you card. It could be, a card to maybe help somebody who's having a hard time, anything like that. Anything that you'd like. The last couple of things I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with these Honeybee Holiday Gem stickers, or like I said, I'm not sure if these are available anymore. You could definitely go in with some liquid Nuvo drops. I just wanted to add a little bit of gold here and there to kind of fill in some empty spaces, kind of, make everything look a little bit more cohesive. And I'm really glad I added this touch. Again, you could use Nouveau drops, you could use anything that you have. I've had these in my stash for quite a while, so again, I'm not 100% sure if they are still available, but you could use anything that you might have. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with a Stardust glitter pen, and I'm just going to go over the vining or the veins on the leaves to create some interest on those as well. And that will finish up these two beautiful fall cards. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. If you liked the video, please consider hitting that like button as well as the subscribe and that little notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video here at my YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and enjoy this beautiful fall weather we've got going on, and I'll see you guys again real soon in the next one. Bye! On screen, I have a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel.